are. Daggum. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, we are getting started. We're going to bring y'all along. Don't know how well this is going to work out. How well you're going to be able to hear me. What all you're going to be able to see or not see, because this is new territory. We're going to ease out here and get started. Like I said, I'm not sure what all y'all can hear over the machine, or even what all y'all can see. But it's going to be a bouncy ride. Done with this project, or we're 3/4 of the way with getting the trees down. We still have to grind all this stuff up and haul it out. Man up here on the Saney. So the order of operations has been, he's been laying everything down with the shear and the Saney 225, and I've been raking everything up and pulling drags with either the 250 or the 210 John Deere. So that's kind of what y'all see mostly today is just a bunch of raking. But we've pretty much got all the pine down. We got several good loads of pine to get out of here, and we're about to get into the hardwood. Good stand of hardwood back here. So I'm not sure how fast we'll go. And right off the bat, those of you that have been following the channel for any amount of time, y'all know that I'm new to this kind of stuff. I'm not new to heavy equipment, but I'm new to this stuff specifically. The only type of land clearing that I've done, and you can't even really call it land clearing, is I've done forestry mulching before with a mulcher, but this is from tree to dirt type stuff, so it's not the same at all. The heavy equipment experience that I've had in the past was with dozers and skid steers, front end loaders, that kind of thing. Very, very little experience with excavators, so I'm still very much learning or getting comfortable with running an excavator. Pretty much anybody the controls, right? You can teach somebody this lifts your boom, this closes your grapple, or this pulls it to you, this turns you, this pedal does this pedal does that. You can teach somebody that. The part that's takes time to learn is like the process, you know, the process of land clearing, knowing where you need to be, when you need to be there, working with somebody, you know, not getting in their way, and just keeping the process flowing. That's the part that takes time to learn. So that's what I mean, really. If you see me do something that isn't exactly right, I'm still learning. But we're gonna ease on up here. I'm gonna bring y'all back. Let's see, we got a full battery. Yes, we do. So you got this big stand of hardwood in front of us. Boss man, he's gonna be laying trees down. If he can, he'll clip the stumps off of them, and then I'll be separating the stumps from the trees and from the brush, and the tops and everything like what you see I have now. I tracked it over here to our big pile to grind up later. Try and get it as high as you can, and then you go back and get another bite. I'm trying to keep this area out here cleaned up enough to where whenever we do start getting further in and things start getting tight, we run out of room, I'll have room to bring the trees out here and get them out of his way, and try and be organized about it while I do it, because you don't want just trees laying around tangled up everywhere. I've already got the stump pile over there. Whenever I start accumulating stumps, I'll be taking them over there. So you just got to be careful. Watch what you're doing, especially when the sun's in your eyes. Out a tree now, and we'll end up putting it down here on top of these other ones. So at this point, since it still has a stump on it, turning my heat down a little bit. He's cutting the tops out of it, and I'll grab them, get them out of the way. Pretty much, we're just turning a tree into a log. That's what we're doing here. And then at some point, him or me, most likely him, will come with a chainsaw and cut the butt off. Because on good size hardwood and even some good size pine, that shear ain't got enough oomph to cut through a 3-foot stump like that. So I'm going to try and turn these tops around. Trip with just one limb, you know. Don't want to make a trip with just one limb. So you come out here, kind of drag it all together, and then get it all in your rake, grapple, whatever you want to call it. can get y'all an outside view and all that good stuff. And we're just gonna play it by ear. Like I said, I'm new to this kind of stuff, but I'm gonna try and get some different video, and hopefully this will become a regular thing that I can show y'all, or it may not. You never know. You never know. So he's bringing one out, and he was able to get the stump off of that one, so I'll be able to take it to the actual log pile, I guess you can call it, down here. While he's fooling with that, we're going to grab these pine tops and drag them out. And we got a piece of hardwood tree. Lay it back down, open our grapple up some more. That way we can bite all of it. But it may not look like it, but you want to do your best to keep your work area clean. You don't want to be riding over a ton of stuff. You want everything to have a spot and to be organized. So obviously we're going to have a hardwood log pile. We're going to have a pine softwood log pile. Then you're going to have a stump pile. You obviously got your brush pile. And then try and have an area where you can stage the logs and still have the stumps on them. But yeah, guys, new to land clearing. This is my first it's not the first land clearing job I've been on, but it's the first one I've started. So I've been able to show, or I've been able to be involved with from the beginning, and I'll be here till the end. I've been on other land clearing jobs with these guys, but it was ones that they had already started. So I've enjoyed seeing the beginning process. So I'll try and spin these two trees around. And you're doing this on an excavator, which works. It's kind of, you can kind of look at it as logging, but it's unconventional logging. So you don't have logging equipment, but you're trying to transport these trees with a head that don't rotate. Like in the wood yard that I worked in, we had apprentices, knuckle booms, whatever you want to call them, and that the head rotated, and that would allow you to turn the tree itself without you moving. Well, with an excavator, obviously you have to do the turning yourself. So you have to be careful not to snap your trees and stuff, which is easy to do with pine. Otherwise, if you start snapping them in half, I mean, it's a waste of time and money. The time it took to take it down whole, and then waste of money because you're not getting money for that log anymore. Keep on doing this for a little while, and maybe I'll bring y'all back in a little bit and show y'all some more. the boss man's got a tree down. We're gonna try and get it out of here, out of his way. We're both fighting the sun. It's kind of hard to see. I got trees behind me. I'm trying to remember exactly where they're at. One thing I will say, there's so much you got to pay attention to with this kind of stuff, and you can't focus on just one thing, especially if you're in the woods with somebody else. You got to know where they're at all times. Like what he's doing, he's taking a tree down, so I got to know what tree he's working on, especially if I'm in here with him. I got to remember where all the trees are at behind me. I kind of cut that one kind of close. And then when you're dragging one out with a stump like this, you have to be careful where the end's going, because you could slap him and hit his machine. You can actually stand one of these back up. That stump, that root ball could catch, and you could stand one of these trees back up. I actually did that yesterday. I meant to ask him if he saw it when it happened, because it was kind of crazy. But I stood a tree completely back up. It wasn't this big, but it was a tall tree. We're trying to get on the side of it here. And I stood it back up, and I had to push it away from it to make sure it didn't fall on top of me. So we're going to scoot up here beside it. We're going to grab it behind the root ball like this. That way we'll be able to manhandle this thing, because there's not much you can do with it on that end. And we're going to try and keep it out there away from us. Sit it over here next to these other trees that have to have the root ball cut off of them. But as you can see, I still got to move this thing over some more, or else I'm going to end up backing into it, and that ain't going to be good. This is not the best spot for these. When I get more time, I'm going to try and come over here and rearrange them and possibly move them. I'm not sure where I'm going to move them to, because right behind them I have hardwood pulpwood, so I can't drag them down further. I may need to I don't know, we'll have to do something with them, because this is too close to where we're coming out of the woods at, and I don't want to back into these things, because that limb that's sticking up is just high enough to go into my machine. Trash I was dragging out a second ago, but then he knocked that tree down, so I was gonna prioritize that versus this trash. I can grab that trash and move it at any point. But y'all see what I'm talking about right here, where my boom's at? I don't like that, so I'm gonna have to figure out a place to put these. I'm not sure, but I want to keep the butts in that direction, because that's where we're going to be loading at, is down there. All right, and there he goes, pushing one down. Maybe y'all can see it. I'm not sure if y'all can or not. Wife just texted me, and a realtor just called me, and we have sold our house back in Alabama. No turning back now. Not that we had planned on it, but what a answer to prayer that is. So hopefully, Lord willing, that sale will go through. Just found that out. So the house has sold. I guess that means I've got to go back down there and get all my tools. Alright. Oh, got one hanging on. There it goes. I've seen him do that dozens of times now, and it doesn't get any less cool. It is pretty cool. And my boss man, I think he is 2 years younger than I am, but he has tons of experience, and it is awesome to hear his stories. He grew up in the logging woods. Like, literally grew up in the logging woods out there at a very young age. Then he went on the road as a heavy equipment operator, and he has a ton of experience with heavy equipment and doing this kind of work. And I greatly enjoyed hearing his stories and the tips and everything that he's given me, because like I said, I'm very new to brand new to land clearing. So I really appreciate all the tips and advice that he's given me, and his patience with me being a new guy. So right now, y'all can't see it, but right now he's up there and he is clawing away at that root ball, because you don't want to take all this dirt with you, right? You want all the dirt that's on that root ball to fill that hole back up, because you don't want craters all over the place. So you want as much dirt to stay there as possible. And then also the other reason, you don't want all that dirt going in your grinder. All these tops and trash that I'm pulling out, they're going into our grinder at some point, and you don't want that in your machine either. We're going to see if we can sneak up here and grab this top and clean up his work area without getting in the way of him working. And again, whenever you grab a hold of a tree or big limb, big top like what I got, you got to be conscious of where the butt is on that thing and what you're going to do with it when you grab it, because you can grab one end of it and you can send it straight into his machine, into his cab, and it would not be good at all. So we're going to back out here, get out of his way, let him keep working. And I wanted to stop because I just remembered something. Let's see where we're at. Remember how I told you I needed to move this and how it was going to be in the way? I'm about 15 feet away from that being in the back of my machine. So I'm going to have to move that, because as y'all just saw, I'm going to get busy doing something else. I'll forget about it. But thankfully I remembered quick enough then, and I was able to stop. I'm trying to make sure I get all this top, because I don't want to come back for just one piece. Make sure we're cutting over enough to miss that. We are. Hope that y'all can see me, or not me, but see enough that y'all ain't getting bored, and be able to hear me all right. And we will be changing the video angle up at some point. Stacking this up real high. And just like that tree out there was was kind of poking up and in a weird spot to be able to cause damage, you got to watch coming back to your brush pile that you don't have a limb poking out that you're going to run into, especially when you're traveling into the sun. There's a lot of stuff that you got to pay attention to. We're going to get back up here and so we're dragging another big one out, and this is kind of where my blood pressure starts going up at. We've been here a few hours this morning. You can see that we've got trees lined up, and these are not even the ones that have the stumps cut off of them. These are ones that still have to be stumped. And I'm having to drag them a pretty good ways because we got a lot more to go. And we don't want them, you can't just drag them to the edge of the woods and drop them because then they're going to be in your way again. And then it takes, these things are pretty heavy, so it takes a while to drag them out. But the part that aggravates me is not being able to keep up. And the boss man, he's obviously a lot faster than I am. That machine is faster. Dropping the tree is faster. So I hate, the part that I hate is not being able to keep stuff out of his way. If he's having to stop for me, that aggravates me. So it goes back to what I was saying earlier about you can teach people this stuff, right? That's kind of like the easiest part. But being able to run efficiently and keep stuff out of your co-worker's way, that's the aggravating thing. I mean, and there's still, it's hard for me to tell what all he has down there, but he's got a good chunk of them. He's got at least 6. You know what I mean? And he's constantly dropping them, right? This machine, or these machines, they can only go so fast carrying a tree this size. Like I said, I'm having to travel a decent ways, and I'm about to mess up because I got a limb poking out over here. We're gonna drop that. See if we can grab it again in the middle. That'll give us a little more leverage. Travel so far away that he's able to drop several by the time I get back. But this also plays into why you want to keep your area cleaned up as much as possible. And I'm trying to keep these trees spread out because when he comes to de-stump them, he needs to be able to get around. So I'm trying to keep them organized while not stacking them on top of each other. Like I say, it's just part of the process that I'm trying to learn here. But he's gonna keep dropping, I'm gonna keep dragging. what you're not getting. I'm just trying to get some of this stuff out of his way. Again, this is the aggravating part where I know I'm behind. So we done made a pretty good hole down through here now. Kind of running out of room up top still. So we'll have to address that at some point. We're just easing down here now. Still pulling what we can out of his way. Trying to stay out of his way. One thing is getting close to lunchtime. Getting close to lunchtime. He's got a really good drag right here, but we can't get all of it. Especially on an incline like this. We're in a 250, but the machine just can't pull it off. So we're gonna try and separate two. We can separate two of them. We'll go from there. But it ain't even gonna let me do that. It's turning the machine. So let's grab one. Kind of tangled up in each other a little bit. Let's see what we can do with this. We don't like that one, so we're gonna go get another. Once they start all laying down, it's hard to see what's what. So some of them still got their tops in them a little bit, and that's causing them to get hung up. We're gonna have to turn loose up. We ain't got enough. I ain't got enough to get turned around. But at least we did manage to bring it halfway up. Slow rolling, guys, slow rolling. Nothing up here. This is where we started at this morning, so I had to make a new brush pile right there so I didn't have to carry it all the way down. So obviously I'm running out of room now. Again, up the hill to the trash pile. That way when I'm dragging trees up through here, I won't have to go across that. One less obstacle in my way. So we made it back from lunch, and I don't know if the audio is going to be any different with this or not. I'm not sure if y'all even heard anything from the first part, but maybe this change up would be add some kind of dynamic to the video versus just seeing the same thing. But my DJI is going to die here soon, so y'all won't have very much video left anyways. But I'd like to have at some point video on the outside of the cab, maybe on the boom or something, showing more action that way. Up so y'all have different views. But like I said, we made it back from lunch, and before lunch we had made it all the way to the back of this project, property, whatever you want to say. Came back up the hill, and we moved over. It's almost like we're doing lanes. And we've come back up to the top, and we're going to make another lane down. So I'm trying to start a stack of wood on the other side. Again, this is going to be with stumps still attached. Again, the aggravating part is not being able to keep up. Not that you're supposed to be able to keep up and run it like this, in this kind of configuration or whatever. But it's aggravating having to have somebody wait on you, because I don't want to slow production down. And like I was saying earlier, the difficult part for me is looking at a project, looking at a job, and seeing how I want to lay everything out, and that's only going to come with time. I want to be able to look at it and see, I want to have this brush pile here, I want to be pulling logs from this direction, being able to see all that ahead. That way I'm not having to work around myself Like I put this stump pile here earlier this morning, but now it's in my way because I'm pulling trees through here and I'm having to go around it. And I'm gonna have to put a trash pile somewhere for the tops. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put that. So it's really just a matter of playing it by ear, and then the boss man telling me, hey, that's not right, you need to do this instead. So but I hope y'all have liked this first video. And again, this isn't coming, don't mistake this as an expert perspective. It's definitely not. Just thought that others who enjoy heavy equipment, and maybe even people who have considered getting in this line of work, they may like following